blame, you mad it.
I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm LP. How'd get myself a bag before the bull run? How'd take some ESHARES, take it in the Boardroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm LP. How'd get myself a bag before the bull run? How'd take some ESHARES, take it in the Boardroom. E-pop got me waiting 3 more hours. Staking all these years higher than a tower. Having all these nodes feel like superpowers. Investing all this bread, never been a coward. Call me Mr. Bond, money in the vault. I stay in the front, feeling like the goal. Don't worry about the haters, got the detonator. I'll kill in every market, call me Terminator. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm LP. How'd get myself a bag before the bull run? Take some ESHARES, take it in the Boardroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm LP. How'd I get myself a bag before the bull run? How'd take some ESHARES, take it in the Boardroom.
Alright, what's up everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. This is our daily live AMA and Detonator rollover event. My name is AJ, I'm the team lead here at EMP, and I'm joined by my co-host with the most, Bull Gates. Bull, how are you, brother?
Oh, I was on mute. Same, different day, same story. Everything's good here. Feeling enthusiastic, pumped up, watching the community really get excited again, especially with the Detonator V2 changes. I know a lot of people in a lot of different communities are really psyched about it.
Yeah, man, no doubt. I know I logged on this morning and saw you updated your profile picture, and I want to make sure it's still the same Bull Gates. But it is.
Yeah.
With the Optimus Prime logo. I know you're ready to have the Autobots assemble. So yeah, man. Awesome. We're glad to hear from you again. Always happy to have you on the AMAs. We have a lot of guests today. Charlie, Joe, a lot of the army is here. We're gonna go over some updates, and then we're gonna get into a kind of an interesting conversation that we had over on the army chat earlier today in regards to detonator taxes. So stay tuned for that. It may kind of give you a different perspective on how Detonator actually operates under the hood. But in the meantime, things are looking good. It looks like we have snapped, bleeding out. I know over the last, 48 hours, ETH has taken a beating. And so is the overall crypto market. But it seems like we're finding a bit of a floor. I know I'm not really a TA guy. I don't do technical analysis or look at charts. I'm more of an overall sentiment. That's what I think influences the markets more than anything. The belief that, markets are going to recover or continue to dump is more relevant than what the chart says. But that being said, I know there's a lot of bullish indicators that show, we may be again leveling out before the next leg up. So, all right, let me go ahead and get into some updates real fast. And then we'll go from there. Again, I know we've been running out of time lately. Hopefully we can get to questions today. If there's a burning question that you've had that we haven't gotten to, please feel free to type it in the chat on YouTube. And again, we're really pushing a lot of engagement here on YouTube. I mentioned it earlier this week. We are now officially monetized. So with that, this is another revenue stream for EMP. Again, one of the only crypto projects that I know of that has a legit YouTube presence that is monetized and will be going to help buy back PEG. So we've submitted all the paperwork. We're getting about $5 a day right now which doesn't sound like a lot, but that adds up. I mean, over
Can
time,
I jump in really quick,
yeah,
AJ?
well, go ahead, bro. Absolutely.
So, there are a lot of YouTube experts here in the community, and they haven't been on in a while to kind of reiterate this point. But back in the day, they did mention about ways to get monetized, and when you do get monetized, right, like make sure that people are obviously like, sharing, and subscribing. That's obvious, but actually just leaving comments, in the section are really important metrics for the YouTube algorithm. And I think we all have a spare phone, old device just sitting around. I would maybe just encourage you to, create that second profile or whatever, and just let these videos play, because as AJ said, it's monetized and ads will pop up, right? And so every little bit every little bit is going to, count towards helping the ecosystem. And if it's you can let a video play while you're watching TV, you're at work, whatever, that's incredible. Obviously, if you're on a limited data plan, we're not asking you to do that. But if you're just sitting around, you're on Wi-Fi, what the heck, just pop it on there and let that bad boy run. Because ultimately that's going to help you, because algorithm's going to see like, oh, more people watching, and it's going to give little bumps for those ads. And then so all of that's going to come back to the Treasury to help all of us here that are owners in the ecosystem. And I think we all understand, because of the power of compound interest, how important it is to, have that compounding effect take place in any place, in any spot that we can. And YouTube and those ads are definitely one of those little spots where, it really starts adding up. And I think Jonathan even mentioned this the other day when he said, once you get, when you're monetized, it really does kind of build up fairly quickly, just so long as everybody in the audience and the part of the ecosystem here is really helping us, push that forward. And so just, make that second profile, get those videos playing.
Yeah, no doubt, Bull. And really, it's about engagement. I mean, we just, even if you only have one account, just make sure you're engaged. I mean, it'll push the algorithm out to more people. Always like, comment, and subscribe. Even today, let's do a little quick poll. I'm gonna try to get in the habit of doing this, but if you think ETH will be above 2,000 by the end of this month, I want you to put a 1 in the comments. If you think it's going to be below 2,000, I want to see a 2 in the comments. So let's try that and see what kind of engagement we can get. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but this will help, again, just getting all of you guys and gals used to engaging here. So, all right, awesome. On that note, yeah, there you go. I see a 2. Uh-oh, that's the first comment to 2. That's a bearish sentiment. Here we go. Here's some 1s. All right, awesome. Good job, guys. All right, so yes, and we'll keep everybody updated on that revenue stream. Again, every little bit helps. We're big proponents of, having like Bull said, not only a diversified income streams, but multiple income streams. And I think that is going to be the new standard moving forward. Any DeFi projects that do not treat their project as a business and have, services that they're able to offer and get paid for, or again, be able to utilize their treasury to yield fresh capital. I mean, those projects are going to die. I mean, it's just simple math that, the amount of growth and new users cannot sustain a project indefinitely. The money has to come from somewhere, and that's just how economics work. And so we're fully aware of that at EMP, and we're going to be implementing many revenue streams moving forward. One of those major revenue streams is something we talked about yesterday, and that's Detonator as a service. So we will be taking our Detonator contract, and we will be selling it, for lack of a better word. There won't be a lot of upfront costs, but it will be an ongoing feed from their protocol through fees into our protocol. And so this could be huge. I mean, we've seen the power of Detonator over the last 7 months really not only provide an incredible investment opportunity, but also provide the #1 way to have locked liquidity and protocol owned locked liquidity. And that is something that every single DeFi project and every single crypto project can benefit from. So imagine, that we have 10 or 20 or 30 or 100 detonators, helping these projects lock liquidity, and now EMP is getting a percentage of all those transactions from every detonator out in the wild. I mean, it could really turn into something great. And again, it's proprietary, so nobody else is going to be able to offer that except EMP. So I'm as bullish as ever, and again, we'll have a lot more info on that coming up over the next few weeks. We also have another use case for maybe a detonator of our own. Again, I think we actually may be rolling that out sooner than later. Again, I hate to be kind of vague here, but we have a really exciting idea for a secondary detonator within our ecosystem. Those of you that are savvy might be able to put two and two together. But I think that again, there could be some opportunity coming for a new detonator already in our ecosystem. So I've already probably said too much with that, but this week will be really exciting. Again, the next 2 weeks, we're going to close out the month really, really strong. And, we've talked about PEG a lot. I know that we're below PEG now, but PEG is not the end all be all. But with these, use cases and revenue streams and everything always feeding the mothership, you always hear me talk about, all the revenue and assets going back to feed the EMP mothership. Well, that's what I mean. What I mean by that is all that I just said. Whether it's again software as a service, our treasury being able to yield on the reserves that we have to create fresh capital, and all of that goes into helping us recover PEG. And that's again in the seigniorage model, the economic model that we have here at EMP. A lot of other seigniorage protocols are dying because they don't have anything other than auto vaults that help with PEG recovery. We have tons of things that help with PEG recovery, and we're already seeing, PEG kind of stabilize and even start to climb back up. Because remember that EMP is a self-healing ecosystem, and once the boardroom turns off, that means there's no new EMP being generated, and the only way to get EMP, if you don't have it, is to buy it. And when you buy it off the market, it pushes the PEG price up. And that also applies for LP, because half of that LP going into Detonator or the farms is EMP. And so, again, we have so many synergistic ways that the ecosystem benefits from itself and the actions of the economy, and that is super unique to EMP. So I could not be more excited. Bull, anything you want to elaborate on that? I got a few more updates, but
Yeah, real quick. The point is you've always said there's always going to be use case for EMP. There's always going to be use case for ESHARES, and that's always really been the case within the ecosystem, and with what is that revenue coming from outside of the ecosystem, that's just more utility. And a lot of people ask, where's the utility? Where's this come from? Where does that come from?
totally.
It comes from new people, becoming invested in EMP, either directly into the ecosystem or outside of the ecosystem. Now, ideally, we want people in this ecosystem because, you're going to see more benefit from that because as the owners of the ecosystem, the people that are here every day, we have an intimate working knowledge of how the community operates here, how the economics work, how the team operates. When we're here, we know those things. And so I'm a big advocate of always trying to advance people that are in the ecosystem and bring people in the ecosystem because, like I'm saying here, we can control all of those things here because we are the ecosystem. Collectively, we are the ecosystem. And I love the idea of outside revenue, and then them using them or you saying you're gonna use Detonator as a service. I love that because with you guys controlling it, just like we've seen with the Detonator V2 upgrades, we've seen daily burst starting to increase, and I like the idea of crypto is a little bit tribal, right? And so there's just going to be some people you can't capture from other ecosystems. However, with Detonator as a service, that is your way to kind of indirectly bring them into the ecosystem. And that's a good thing too, because at some point, you're never going to be able to reach every user, but any user that we can reach either directly, which is more beneficial, is awesome. But indirectly, also good too, because the ecosystem here is going to see the benefit of that money flowing through that Detonator in that other ecosystem. So
Absolutely
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And again, I mean, those that have been around and maybe have a little more business sense, and that's I'm not putting anybody down, but I know that people that have that business acumen know the power of what I'm saying. And again, it boils down to common sense is that, the more ways we're integrated with other platforms, offering them a service. I did a real big write up on this in the email blast earlier today. Those of you that are on the email blast, make sure you subscribe. But I made an analogy again, Bull. I'm taking a page from you with all these analogies. But I'm a big Walt Disney fan. All of you know that I was at Disney last week, and my family loves it there as something that's fun for them. But really, for me, I also take inspiration from Disney and what Disney did. That was a big thing that I live by is he offered value first. It wasn't a matter of how much money can we make off somebody or how much money can an ecosystem produce. It's focused on providing value first. And when you have that mentality where you provide value and then once that value is created, then the revenue follows, not the other way around. And that's how I've been really successful in my real life. I mean, crypto is real life, but I have multiple businesses in the real world, and that's the mentality I've always had. It's not how much can I charge, how much can I extract. It's how much value can I give, and then the money follows. So, and that's exactly what we're applying to EMP with this Detonator as a service because the Detonator contract is extremely valuable. And it's, like I said, something that a lot of other crypto projects want, they need, and it's a win-win for everybody because again, it's an awesome investment opportunity, and it's one of the best ways to lock liquidity in the protocol. So again, I mean, I'm more bullish than ever. I know I keep saying that, but I think the overall sentiment in the market is, and I see it in Discord a lot that people are like, there is EMP, there's what are the utilities for EMP? Well, utility is coming. You can't just create utility overnight, but the major utility for EMP is already here. I mean, you use EMP as a utility token to create your farm LP, to create LP and Detonator, and those two things are all that we need in where the ecosystem is at the present. Yes, as inflation continues to grow, do we need to have more use cases to combat that inflation? Absolutely, and that's what we're working on now behind the scenes. We have a lot of awesome ideas. I know I've teased a Boardroom version 3, which is something that we're working on. That will be a one-to-one swap of the ESHARE that you already have and how our Boardroom operates. That's no news. Those of you that have been paying attention know that this was coming. This is a great way to extend the emissions on ESHARES. And so with that will come, again, a Boardroom version 3 that has a little bit more, conservative economics as far as the inflation rate. There's just so much happening at EMP that even doing a daily AMA for an hour, we can't really get into everything that we're doing. And so, again, I apologize for that. I try to be the best communicator I can. But just know that we work, 18 hours a day to help our own bags. Again, no expectation of profits from the work of others. But we are working nonstop to, make EMP the best it can be. And ultimately, again, a top 100 project. I mean, who knows, a top 10 crypto project, if and when Detonator as a service catches on. And, it only takes one large crypto project to partner with us in Detonator and have the results that we know Detonator can provide before everybody and their brother will want a version of Detonator. So really, really exciting stuff. All right, I think that was it. Oh, the Academy is getting closer and closer. We're almost ready to release the Academy, and with that, we had a really interesting conversation about Detonator taxes. And I don't know. I know Joe is here. I don't want to overcomplicate things, but I do think it was worth bringing up. And Kirk, I know he was here as well. So between Bull, Kirk, and Joe, maybe we can get a little bit more clarity. But the long story short is a lot of times in Detonator we say taxes, especially on the in tax of 10%, which again, 6% of that goes to all the participants as instant rewards. Another 3% goes to the affiliate commission or the Treasury, and another 1% goes to the dev fees, or the Treasury. But really, with taxes, we say that because it's the easiest to understand. But in all reality, you're actually getting credit for 100% of your deposit into Detonator. And I think, taxes are such a dirty word. But, I thought that was kind of obvious. But after a conversation here in the Army today, maybe it isn't as obvious. So, Joe, I don't know if you want to start off, brother. Are you there? I know you're a numbers guy, so you want to elaborate a little bit on what that conversation was?
Sure, sure. How you doing today, AJ?
Really good, brother. Great to hear from you.
Good, good. Yeah, I got in a little late on the conversation. I was busy today, but I did catch it at the end. And if we're I don't want to say confused, but if there's different ways to look at the tax, then yeah, it might be confusing to other people in the community, because when we think of the word tax, we think of it as a deduction, like we're losing out. Like you make 20,000 a year and you pay tax off of that, so you really make call it 16,000. You have less than you started with, and that is taxes in general. The way it works in Detonator is slightly different, like you're saying, AJ. So we'll start with the deposits, and I'll let anyone else that steps in that wants to elaborate more. But we'll just start with my understanding and how I like to simplify it. So you are 100% correct. If you deposit, and we'll keep it simple, 1 LP into the Detonator, let's say that's your first deposit, you will get a full 1 LP in your deposit balance. Under overview, where it says you've deposited, it won't be minus 20%. You're not going to get 0.8 LP. You will get the full credit of the 1 LP. From the pool balance, 6% of your deposit will get distributed as instant rewards to all people that are in the Detonator, and your share is all dependent on your ranking or your share within the system. So obviously people that have a bigger deposit balance will get more of that 6%. So it's just a pie that we all slice up, and we get a piece of it depending on our investment in the protocol. But you as a depositor do get credit for the full amount, and your daily burst is off of the full amount. So that's fantastic. So all that's done on the back end for you. So just know that when you deposit, you will get full credit for that. And then as far as the taxes go on compounding and claiming, as you know, your daily burst is an estimator of what you can expect to earn in a 24-hour period. That daily burst is dynamic because it's all run on math, and it's all based on your pool share, how much you have invested, and also how much is in the pool balance. So that number constantly changes. It typically doesn't change that much throughout the day, but if you do make, say, a good sized deposit or a good sized compound, you may notice your daily burst tick up slightly. And again, that's because the math is running in the background in real time. But back to compounding or claiming. So your daily burst is that estimator for a 24-hour period, which means if you claim or compound near the rollover, it's going to be very close to your daily burst estimator. And that's the whole point of the daily burst. It's to give you an idea of what you're going to get. If you claim, you get the full amount. So let's say you earn 1 LP. Again, to keep it simple, you see 1 LP in pending rewards and you hit claim. That 1 LP is going to go to your wallet. And that's because the math that's going on in the background already accounted for the 20%. So that way you don't have to kind of figure it out yourself. It's done for you. So think of the tax as a governor that adjusts the output of what you earn, but what you see is what you get. Now, the real kicker is the bonus you get for compounding. Because the system wants to promote sustainability and compounding, you get that 20% back from your gross earnings. So if you were to compound 1 LP instead of claiming, you'll actually get 1.25. The math that's done behind it is really 1 divided by 0.8. But discussing it in the Army, Charlie brought up a good point. A simpler way to think of it is look at what you have in pending rewards and just add 25% to it. So that 1 LP, plus 25% is 1.25. So the math comes out to the same, but getting that 25% bonus or kicker for compounding is a nice, easy way to think of it. Regardless of what your taxes are, and even if you fall into that very small group that get the whale tax, and if you pay the whale tax, you don't get refunded for compounding, but that affects so few people. And again, that's all built by design to control whale growth. I know we talk about whales a lot in this and thinking that they have an advantage. That whale tax is to keep them curbed so that they don't drain the system. And so it's built with all that taken into account, which was amazing by design. But at the end of the day, whatever you have as your deposit, you will ROI 365% off of that. Regardless of the taxes or anything else, you can always get 365 of your total deposit. And that's the important thing. Is at the end of the day, there is no punishment with the taxes. It's just a way of controlling how much you get per day to keep this all sustainable. So hopefully that was simple and clear.
That's perfect, Joe. It's perfect.
Okay, good.
Yeah, perfect. Very simple, very easy to understand. The only true tax is not on the dollar value or the amount of LP you have. It's on time. The tax on time means that if you were a person that claimed more and more and more, it's just going to take you longer to ROI. So the tax, the tax that's mentioned in the white paper, the tax that we talk about here, it's just a measurement of time. That's really where Joe said it, it throttles you down. That analogy he uses for a car, it's a governor. It's a tax on how fast you're going to reach that ROI. Yes.
Yeah. One thing, yep. Who brought up last night about the compounding interest in Detonator? I thought we talked about that before, but it was so long ago. I'm glad he brought it up again. Does anyone remember his name? Maybe he's on the AMA.
Yeah, I think it was Dr. Cool, or no, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah,
okay.
From yesterday. Sorry, apologies.
All right.
Either way,
yeah,
cool Dr. Money, right?
Yeah.
Either way, he had an amazing point, and sometimes we just doing this every day, you forget to step back and look at how powerful the Detonator is. even putting the lottery aside, which is, can be life-changing money for a lot of people. And even if it's not life-changing, trust me, when you get that nice, big, juicy deposit LPs, you're going to get pretty darn excited. But we talk about compounding a lot. And one of the strategies is, if you're starting out in Detonator, is to compound every day for at least a few months. And we're not doing that to say, hey, we want you to deposit so that we can claim and drain the system and get out before you can. It's because it's in your benefit. So just using simple numbers, if you deposited $1,000 into the Detonator and you compounded for 1 year, you're going to get a 10x on your investment. Now, the price of LPs can go up or down, but if you were to put in that 1,000, whatever that comes out for LPs, you're going to 10x your LPs. Now, if the price is much higher in the future, it's going to be well above 10x. So where else can you 10x with direct exposure to Ethereum other than right here? It is just mind-blowing. So
Totally,
just think
Joe.
about that.
Yeah, no doubt. Well,
And one last thing, even if you were to put that 1,000 in and say, well, I don't want to compound every day, I want to do the 6-1 strategy. Even if you were to do the 6-1 strategy, that same math still works, and you can do it on a compound calculator. I'm using like 0.63, 0.65 because that's what you get when you compound versus roughly 0.5 today for claiming. Doing a 6-1 strategy is still going to get you an 8x on your money in 12 months, and you're going to get your initial 1,000 back plus a little extra. Where else are you doing that? Nowhere. So it is like amazing.
Totally. Well, and that was the whole point of this whole entire conversation. I know it can boil down to semantics or whatever, but I know Kirk really, and he's on here. I'm gonna let him give his take in a second here. But we want to make it right in the new academy. Even if it is a little more complicated, there's so much math involved in the Detonator contract, which is just, again, shows why Detonator is amazing. I've said this before too, not to have a tangent, but the Detonator contract alone, it is already at the maximum that rescan and the actual EVM, Ethereum virtual machine, allows for the amount of data in one smart contract. So that just goes to show you how complicated a Detonator is and the amount of math and work that has gone into this. And so, yeah, I mean, the whole point is we're not trying to overcomplicate things. And if you take anything away from the last 10 minutes, is that, Detonator is even more attractive than it appears on the surface because it really isn't a tax. You're getting credit for everything. And like Joe said, there is no smoke and mirrors. It's not that we say we want you to compound more than you claim so that, all the early investors get out, and dump on everybody or drain the contract. That is not at all what's happening. And we've seen that. The proof, again, don't take my word for it. Look at the contract. I mean, it has literally been growing for 7 months, or 6.5 months now. And that is because the economics are just so solid in the fact of that, yes, if you do claim every single day, you are going to get less overall, or rather, not less overall because it's still 365% ROI, but the time that it takes to get that will take a lot longer than, again, if you're compounding. So, Kirk, I know, again, man, we were all trying to wrap our head around it earlier today. Is there anything else you want to add or any other questions you might have? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Kind of this conversation got a little bit started with me because I'm literally right in the middle of doing the Detonator videos for the new academy, and I wanted to be 100% sure that I understood what was going on in order to do that and write the script in the right way so that as we get new people coming into the fold, they understand what's going on. And I do get that in some ways it's easier to do things like use the word tax because everybody understands what a tax is. But at the same time, I also felt like, well, is it really a tax? And if it's not a tax, do we not owe it to people to explain to them what it actually is? And so that's kind of where I was coming from with this. And I started to have some conversations with Jake about it, and I learned some things that I did not know before. And if you think about it, for those of you who have been, in other protocols and other things, which I think all of us probably have, for instance, one thing that I learned was, okay, I knew from day one that there was a 10% into Detonator. Okay, cool. And I know that 6% of that goes to everybody currently in the contract, and 1 or 4% of it goes to the Treasury, depending on whether you have a referral or not. Now, in other protocols, right, you would put $100 in there, and what would your account credit would be $90, because $10 is going for the 10% buy tax and being distributed, like we're saying. Well, that is not what happens in Detonator. You are given a full credit for a full 100% of your deposit that you can then 365 on. And so that got me down a rabbit trail of going, well, if that's true, then is that really a tax? And how is that actually working? So, and then on the 20% part that we've been talking about as well, same thing. It's not really a tax either. And so kind of the epiphany for me in looking at this was like going, okay, I have actually mistakenly told people in the past when they go, okay, so there's a 10% tax coming in and a 20% tax going out. So that's 30%, right? And I'm like, well, I don't know the math, but that sounds right. But that isn't true. And not only is it not true, it's almost the opposite of true. And so one of the things that I thought was interesting in our conversation today was talking about how Americans view the word tax and versus maybe people in other parts of the world. Whereas you go and buy something, in London or wherever, and the price you see on the tag is the price you pay, period, end of story. Well, in the United States, we don't look at it that way. We all know that the price that we end up paying is going to be more. We don't know how much sometimes, especially if we're traveling. We don't know what the local sales tax is and all that kind of stuff. And so coming at taxes from that perspective, I sort of thought that the mechanics of Detonator was that the 365 that I was ROIing was gross, not net. But it is net. And so that's where AJ was just saying it's actually better than I even suspected, which I already thought it was great. And so I think that it's kind of interesting to look at this, and for maybe other people who aren't super math guys as me. And the other point that I was making was because I've never claimed one day in Detonator, I've compounded every time, I've never seen what you get back. I wouldn't have been surprised in my own mind if I would have claimed and I would have received 20% less than what I thought I might be. So and obviously that isn't correct, but it's just the perception of the word tax and what that means and where that tax is actually being applied. And the reality of it is, as I'm understanding it now, not only is it not a tax, it's really more of like a share between the pool and us. And that 20% is that, not necessarily a tax to me, is something like I'm responsible for paying you X amount of dollars. And that's not what this is. And so I was just interested in having a conversation with everybody to try to figure out if I was the only one that didn't realize that, which maybe, or if there were other people out there who were thinking about it this way and maybe needed to refresh and understand that this is actually better than even that.
Totally. No, I love it, Kirk. And yeah, hopefully, again, with the new academy, we can do more of a deep dive into this for those that really want to know what's happening under the hood. And at the end of the day, I mean, all the math is solid. All the numbers are accounted for. Again, it's just the way in which these numbers are accounted for is really the secret sauce that we talk about a lot. But and that's even,
right. Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say real quick, yeah, but I do really think it's really important, AJ, because again, I don't want either in the videos or just as a person, myself or anybody else, assuming something like that, like I did. I'm sure the couple people that I said yes to 30% didn't end up investing because I was giving them incorrect information. So it's really important to understand, especially if you're, because we always, preach here, go out, talk to your friends, not necessarily tell them they have to invest, but get them interested in the protocol, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's all great. But as we educate ourselves, it's important that we put that information out there in a way that everybody can digest it.
Totally. And yeah, and that fits the mission. I mean, we want to be transparent and we want to say actually what's happening rather than a good enough. But yeah, again, go ahead, Joe. You're going to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, back to the compounding. So a lot of I've been kind of filling you in on my son's journey in the detonator with his initial transfer out from Celsius, where he had the 1.55 Ethereum that he moved over. He started in the farms and then he went in the detonator. So it was funny. Today was his first day he compounded by himself because we sent him off to college yesterday. And I said, summer's over, but no more coddling. You're on your own. So I just checked and he did compound today. So I just sent him a text saying, good job. And I said, your $3,000 in the detonator that you have right now, if you compound for 1 year, you're going to 10x on that, which is roughly $30,000, right? But here's the cool part I wanted to bring up was this is where APR and APY really shine, or you can see the difference. So APR is just when you take the interest, the daily interest rate, and you multiply it by 365 for 1 year. So if you were to take, say, right now we're paying roughly 0.5 on claims in the detonator, but if you compound, it's about 20% more. So let's call it 0.63 daily. If you were to annualize that, that's roughly 230%, which is already insane because that's on Ethereum, real Ethereum. But because of the power of compounding interest, meaning every day that you compound, that gets added to your balance, which means your balance is slightly bigger. And now you're getting 0.63% of that bigger balance. And that happens every single day. When you're in the bank, that happens once a month if you're lucky. So the difference between APY and APR at the bank might only be 0.5% or 1% if you're lucky. Here, that 230%, when you look at it at an APY, because you're compounding every day, is almost 900%. So just chew on that for a little bit, and you start to understand the power of compounding a lot more in the detonator, especially in the beginning, because you're growing those bags initially. And those first few months have such an impact for the later times, and not even accounting for Ethereum's price going up, just the power of compounding. So you're starting off with 230 and you're going up to almost 900% just from compounding your interest.
I love that, Joe. I don't know, LA, if you're listening, we may have to do a standalone video of that and do a clickbait title of Detonator is actually producing 900%. I mean, again, I'm guilty of this. I don't ever like to lead, with flashy things. But we are in the DeFi space, and maybe we need to start tailoring some of the, advertising to attract.
Facts.
Yeah,
The
right,
facts.
exactly, Bill. I know, cool Dr. Bunny just said people always seem to find out EMP is better than they thought rather than worse. Man, is that refreshing in DeFi. And yeah, it's so true. I come from this, mentality of under promising and over delivering because that's what all crypto projects seem to never do. But now I think maybe we do talk about a little bit of a shift in how we're presenting this. Like Bull said, the facts. So yeah, and again, this is why we have the AMAs. This is why we have internal discussions. This is why we have the army, where people are able to give feedback, in a non-judgmental way. And that's what we want to encourage here at EMP and the overall culture of our platform, because this is how we all grow together. So there you go, Joe. That could be another video we do in the academy. Kirk, get with Joe on that. The power of compound interest. And again, I mean, I know I say this a lot too. I sometimes I take things for granted. I mean, I've been in crypto full time for the last 5.5 years. Well, longer than that now, but and so sometimes I'm almost too close to the chest, where the knowledge I have is kind of baked in, and I realize that a lot of you might not have that knowledge, and I apologize for not being able to articulate it well. But that's what we're trying to do here. And I think moving forward too, I mean, with the new academy, as well as we're going to be rolling out some one-on-one webinars where Bull and I will be there, almost like I don't want to call it a mastermind, but a private group that we can really, do these AMAs on steroids, basically, that we do a deep dive into all the basics. And I think that, that will be really helpful to a lot of you involved. And even some of the OGs. I mean, I learn every day, and that's another thing. Like, never stop learning. And the ecosystem, DeFi as a whole, and BMP is always changing. I know I said this on the AMA yesterday. What worked yesterday might not work today, and you gotta always be willing to adapt and overcome to keep up with the space. And we're all flying by the seat of our pants. I mean, one day in crypto is a month in traditional finance. So you have to be able to be a nimble boat navigating the DeFi space. So all right, well, I think that was a really productive talk. Again, Kirk can do a deep dive and be able to explain that a little bit better through the new academy. If any of you are still a little bit, unclear of what we said, let us know and we can try to explain it even better. But yeah, I know that that was a great topic today. So, all right, anybody else from the army want to add, Bull or Charlie, and any other updates before we get into the detonator? We have about 10 minutes. We can take some more questions too. I'll look through my questions.
I think Don Mack had his hand raised earlier, or Darcel. Darcel, did you have a question? Let me see. Where did she go? Did she just disappear? Oh, there she is.
No, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't have a question. I have a comment, a compliment. I am very glad to hear, AJ, yesterday when someone asked you of kind of what I would say artificially propping up PEG, and you kind of stared away from it. Because I think artificially doing things like that is like going on an extreme diet. Soon as you go back to eating the regular food, you put the weight back on.
I love it, Mrs. Darcel. Yes, 100%, and that is a great analogy. And yes, ma'am, it's so true. I mean, we see it with these other protocols. I mean, I've even seen a protocol. I won't mention names, but they literally altered the code to have the peg rate be below 1.01. And if you're going to that sort of an extreme just to make the economics work, I mean, you're destined for failure. So yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, and I appreciate
Yes.
you. I appreciate you jumping on and saying that, and it's true. I mean, I would rather us, quote unquote, struggle. Which again, I think that's a little bit of a over exaggeration, but if it's healthier for the ecosystem to struggle or to have a breather, to be able to recover and have the people that are not here for the long run leave, then that makes our peg recovery, even stronger when it does happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. It's a long. Got to have a long term. You. I know you get a little scared, but you got to have a long term mindset. And propping it up is only going to give a temporary joy. It's going to be gone.
Yep, 100%. Well, and it is scary, and I know that is the ultimate fear, I think. And, you know, I think people think, well, man, you know, just like every other algorithmic coin, you know, even though, again, EMP is so much different fundamentally, but they think, you know, that we're going to depeg or decouple from our peg and never be able to recover. And so, you know, not only have we proven that wrong every single time over the last 7 months, but Detonator is an insurance plan for that, because even if everybody removed their LP and sold the EMP side, we can only drop so far below peg because Detonator has a locked liquidity, yeah, of you know, $6 or $7 million now. So yeah, it's that fundamentally also protects that inherent fear, you know, that you mentioned. So
yeah, I'm so glad. I was very happy to hear that, because I know that you know, you really tried to look out for the community, and I was hoping, like, no, AJ, please don't say that, because
yeah, for sure.
it'll be disastrous in the end, and people just have to understand that.
Yep,
They
100%.
yeah.
Awesome. All
And
right.
see, and I just want to tell Bill, old lady Dorsell does analogy. She raised two children. I've been doing analogy forever.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I was just thinking of how perfect, you know, of an analogy that is about the diet, and I'm thinking, man, I wish I would have came up with that. And you know, change in peg, like we just bought a new set of clothes and said, that diet worked perfectly. We don't have to worry about it. See, my clothes fit perfectly fine. No big deal. I tried my diet and failed, but look at how perfectly it worked. My clothes are just a different size, but they're all the same clothes. No big deal. So yeah, perfect analogy. And I love to hear new people get on and, you know, add their flavor into the mix. So keep coming on and adding your flavor, Dorsell.
Always.
Yeah,
All
totally.
righty. Thank you.
All right, awesome, Mr. Dorsell. Yeah, and I know, again, I know you haven't been on the AMAs lately, but you're an OG.
No, I've been on.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
not missed the MAAs.
yeah, no doubt. You've been
She's
around.
here.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and again, I mean, I know, you know, those that have been here, you know, from the beginning, I think they really understand, you know, what we're doing, and yeah, I appreciate you coming on and giving us that insight. And yeah, I mean, we're even if I know what the analogy, again, back to analogies, but what do they say is that it's sometimes it's harder, you know, to do the right thing. But we're always going to do the right thing, even if we have to suffer, you know, a little bit more in the short term. If it makes the economy and community stronger, then obviously that is the route that we're going to take. So, all right, awesome. So, all right, Bull, we got any other questions or comments? Anybody else have their hand up? I know you said Don Mack maybe was here. I don't know.
I do not see Don. I'm sure that there's got to be somebody out there that wants to say something.
Yeah, we got time for one more question before Detonator, and then we can jump into that again. Hopefully, give
Yeah,
away some great
I'll
prizes.
just
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just buttress up that point that, you know, Dorsell was talking about, and what you were mentioning too, AJ, is that I think everybody's been in this position at some point in their life that they really, really wanted something, maybe when they were a kid, younger, and didn't have any funds, and you know, they were wanting their parent to buy that prize for them, that toy, that whatever it was. But the time that, you know, that they maybe figured like, oh, they're maybe not going to be able to get that for me, and they got a paper route, they mowed lawns, they did something for it. I think they get that item, whatever it happens to be, and they're going to appreciate it and respect it a little bit more. And instead of that person that gets everything that they want, and you know, this is a blanket statement and might not be always true, but if you get everything in your life that you always want whenever you want it, can you really truly appreciate those things? Just, it's exactly like where I've said, when you live in that place where the weather is perfect every day, you get to where you don't even appreciate it because it's just normal. And we've spent a lot of time in Hawaii, and I'm always amazed at like how wonderful it is there, just weather-wise, and the people are so friendly, and it's incredible. But when you're like in awe of the scenery there and the weather, and you tell somebody that's a native Hawaiian there, and you're like, oh my gosh, man, this weather is incredible, and they're like, yeah, I've been there, done that. And I think it's just human nature to not really appreciate those things that are always right in front of your face. But when you really, you're not immersed in that. Like, I asked this question months ago to the people that grew up on islands, right? Like, because a lot of us that grew up on the continents or on big parcels of land, a lot of us say, man, when we get crypto rich, we want to buy that island. And I asked the people that live specifically, if you grew up on an island, if you get crypto rich, are you moving to the mainland? And they're like, every one of them said, no, I'm going to stay on the island. And so everybody wants that island, like there's something inherently better about that. But it is true that the vast majority of the world's population lives in close proximity to water. But my point is that when we have to really work for something, I think we really appreciate it more. There's some struggle, and that because of that struggle and adversity, it teaches us something, and it awakens something in us, that inner confidence, something that we don't know that maybe existed. And it's part of the reason why I say to get involved with anything that you're passionate about doing, something that you really enjoy doing. And I think the vast majority of the people here at EMP, and I don't want to speak for anybody, but they really enjoy this ecosystem. They enjoy the people, even if we might get on each other's nerves at sometimes, because people just do that. We tend to maybe bicker and quarrel a little bit with the people that we're in close proximity with, and maybe don't appreciate them. But the reality is like, I always say that I wouldn't, like argue with you or have a differences of opinion if I didn't give a shit who you were. I only do that with the people that I, have come into close contact with and are in my circle, so to speak. Because why would I ever care about somebody that I'm only going, or what if I usually put it like this. If somebody in the real world calls me an a-hole, you know what I do? I don't get mad about it. I'm like, okay, I'll see you later. I'll probably never see that person again in my entire life, and there's no reason to get upset about it. But when we're around people all the time, I think we always take those good things for granted. But it is because you have differences of opinion, and you might have a debate about something. That doesn't mean that you dislike the person. It probably, in my case, I can tell you that it means just the opposite.
Totally. And again, that's all the beautiful part of EMP. We talk about crypto friends, but it's also a crypto family. I mean, we are, in this together, and sometimes family fights or has a different view on things, or a difference of opinion. But at the end of the day, the ultimate goal here is how we just continue to grow EMP and move EMP forward as a project. And I know for me, Bull, that shows that we care, man. If we didn't care, we'd just say, fuck it. We don't have to explain it, or,
Hey, bro, we're monetized.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
know.
you gotta watch
I gotta
you
watch
gotta
the
watch that.
F-bombs. I know, bro. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, all right. Well, there are two questions.
Randy had his hand
And then,
raised
yeah,
though.
and then Randy. We'll get to
Okay.
Randy for sure. So, all right, let me get through this, Randy, and then I'll give you the floor. This is Max from YouTube. Max, any plans for a video on how to use EMP for Splinterlands? Maybe in the academy, or particularly renting and bots. I feel it could help to make it even more accessible. So yes, Max, absolutely. So we are working on that now. LA did an amazing article when we first announced our partnership, and there were some awesome video tutorials from third parties in that article. I'm sure somebody can post it for us in one of the chats. Also, we are planning on that. So we literally had this in our marketing meeting earlier this week. If you're part of our email list, we will be putting together a specific email thread that's going to point everyone to a webinar. Again, I hate to use that word, but it'll be pretty much a one-on-one session where Bull and I will literally walk you through everything about Splinterlands. I'm going to do my best to keep it around an hour to an hour and a half. And it will be an introductory model, but it'll be, us actually going through it and being able to answer questions in real time. So that video will be coming. It will then live on our YouTube page after we record it. It'll be another, again, AMA just like this, where we go live. It'll just be earlier in the day as to not conflict with our AMAs. And yeah, RJ said it right. I mean, a game night. We really could have a Splinterlands game night where we all play together. If you are interested in being more involved in Splinterlands and learning,
Ooh, that sounds fun.
yeah, we have paid a top 20 professional Splinterlands player to be a coach for the EMP ecosystem. So his name is Berlarge. I always get his name wrong. I can't pronounce it, but he is on our Discord. So we have a channel on our Discord that is Splinterland specific. We have a guild that we've already set up in Splinterlands. We're already battling, so we're in it. I mean, we're over there. Again, it's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page. So please join that sub thread over on Discord that is all Splinterland specific, and feel free to ask for help. How to get involved, and again, we will be doing a whole series on Splinterland taught by yours truly. So, and yeah, I love the idea of a game night, so we can work that into maybe once a week. We all play Splinterlands for an hour. That would be killer. So, all right, Brandy, go ahead, brother. Are you still there?
Yes, sir. Since we're getting close to the rollover, this is a good segment. I
Perfect.
started with 30 LP in Detonator when I had started, and over a period of time, I have added a few more deposits. So I've deposited about 55 LP over time. So with about 85 LP, I just reached today 300 LP in the Detonator
Awesome.
balance.
Amazing,
So
Randy. I was hoping that you were gonna say this on the AMA. I know you and I were talking earlier. So yeah, man. I
yeah,
mean, if that is not proof in the pudding, I don't know what is, brother. And I mean, man, what a
so
testimony. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and it would even be more if that deposit was earlier, because I even made some deposits a couple weeks ago. But anyway, 85 LP. With that, if you just count that, that would be over a 3.5%, 3 times ROI, 3x ROI
Yep.
on that in 6 months. And as Joe had mentioned earlier, going 10x over a year, I should actually surpass that just based on my history. So yeah,
Totally.
it's a powerful program. I mean, going from 30 to 85, let's say, and then to 300 is just amazing. And definitely appreciate all the work that's been put into Detonator.
Yes, no doubt, brother. Well, and on top of all that, that doesn't even count a lottery win, correct?
Yeah,
So,
it doesn't count a lottery
right.
win, and it doesn't count the 365% that I'm going to get on top of that.
Yep, exactly. So just go again. Go the upside potential is just absolutely ridiculous, and all of that of what Randy just said doesn't account for the price appreciation of Ethereum, which in turn, increases the dollar value of your LP position. So again, man,
Yeah,
I know that what I said earlier, it's like Detonator and specifically is like the gift that keeps on giving
mhm.
rather. No matter how you look at it, it's better than what it appears to be on the surface. So yeah.
Yeah, I learned early on with the way the market is. I mean, I don't think dollars at all. I just look at those LPs and just watch them grow. I mean, the dollar's going to come, but the LP growth is just amazing.
Yes, brother. Awesome. Well, thanks for that that miniature testimonial. And yeah, Randy is one of our mods over on Discord. So if you would like to talk to him more about that journey, I'm sure he'd be willing to show you the numbers behind it all. So because that's the other beautiful part. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Like we can get on here and make claims or say words, but all of this is verifiable on chain, based on the math and the numbers. So, really exciting stuff. So, all right, we have about 5 minutes left. I'm gonna jump into it real fast. We'll give an abbreviated version today. Those of you that are on YouTube, you can hopefully see my screen. This is Detonator. Detonator is our daily ROI contract. You deposit LP tokens. Half of those are EMP, half of those are actual Ethereum. Um, those LPs are then locked into the contract, which is majorly beneficial for us as a protocol. And in return for doing something beneficial for the protocol, we reward you for doing that. So you get up to again, it roughly it's around 0.6% daily at current numbers. Actually, a little bit more if you factor in instant rewards. But just let's say 0.6% daily, and that number is going up because with some of our recent upgrades to the detonator, the daily burst has continued to gradually climb. I'm seeing my largest daily burst ever today. So that's exciting. And so, yeah, that is the goal of what we've done. And so, again, you get that back every single day as a bare minimum. It may be even more than that with the instant rewards. And like we said on this entire AMA, if you're compounding, you're actually able to ROI even faster. So we always recommend compounding more than claiming, and that is not because we have ulterior motives. That is because that is how the contract balance will grow and how you will make more as the investor. So we recommend a 6-1 strategy where you're compounding 6 days a week, claiming 1 day a week, or even a 5-2 strategy where you compound 5 and claim twice. And then again, that's just gonna the more you claim, the slower that those massive returns will happen. But again, we're all here to make money, and we again want to promote healthy profit taking, no matter what the market conditions are. And if you're going to take profit by claiming, you can always take the LP that you claim and put it into our farms. So now you're earning on top of earning, and there is no other system in DeFi that can do that with exposure to Ethereum and be as sustainable as we have seen. So again, a win-win all the way around. So, Bull, we got 2 minutes here. You want to talk about the lottery really fast? What did we give away?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
lots of stuff. Always an LP, right? EMP, ETH LP. There's a lot of different ways to win, which are all amazing in and of themselves. But because EMP is an amazing protocol, Detonator V2, the community wanted some certain things, some certain upgrades, and it all happened. We've seen daily bursts increasing. We've seen more winners. We've seen bigger prizes, etc. But if you're a mega whale, right, that win it now button might be for you. That's 2% of the pool balance. If that doesn't tickle your fancy or a little bit, you have the ability to still be the largest depositor, all the way up to being matched to 3% of the pool balance. If you're a mega space whale and you were to do a 3% deposit like that, and you could do it cumulatively now because that's one of the changes. There's going to be multiple random ticket lottery winners, and they're going to love you for that. And everybody in the contract is going to love you for that because really it's the whales and everybody really depositing that, we see the benefit of those instant rewards. But because there's a lot of different ways to win, the only way to lose is by not being involved.
Perfect. There you go, Bull. Great fast recap. Again, tickets, we call it a lottery, but really, again, it's more of a giveaway because it's a lossless lottery as well. You get credit for tickets, but you're still getting credit for your initial deposit no matter what. And that's what makes, again, Detonator one of the many things that make it so powerful. So, all right, we have 1 minute left. We are getting some good volume last minute. We'll see. Right now, 85 LP is the current largest deposit. Yesterday, we had some last minute, again, what we call snipers, depositing a lot, and we were able to give away and have a minimum balance enough to have 2 winners yesterday. And the Treasury, the team wallet that I show here on stream, was a lottery winner yesterday. And when that happens, we all win. So, all right, here we go. 35 seconds. If you are a winner, we'd love to hear from you and celebrate. And we'll see what we get here. Well, 85 LP, take it down. Could be a little payday. Again, even though all of our changes, there's still a minimum of 300 LP that we're giving away every day, regardless of how much people minimum deposit. So here we go. 10 seconds. Good luck. 8, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 188 came in last minute. Let's see if that holds up. Let me refresh.
Yep, 188.
All right, 188. We'll take it down.
Yeah, we also had a
Yeah.
101 come in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm pulling it up right now on stream.
Everybody, you can bottom right-hand side, you can click on View Largest Deposit, and because the rollover just occurred, click on Yesterday. You'll see the those top deposits.
Perfect. Thank you, Bull. Yep, absolutely. So I just showed that on stream. But those of you that are listening in and not looking at YouTube, yeah, that is a way to do it. And so what we see is even within the first, top 10 here of largest deposits, that is more than what we're giving away as the minimum. And so by doing that, that's why we're seeing daily bursts increasing every day and why the changes have been so bullish to the sustainability of the contract. So again, the number one winner there was 188 LP. Congrats to them. But overall, more money came in, the more money going out, which is the end goal of what we want. And now again, the daily burst is the highest I've seen it. So everything is working as expected and as designed. And again, it's just proving that the economics behind Detonator and the game theory behind Detonator are just absolutely massive and something that we haven't seen in crypto to date. And I'm 100% confident in saying that. So, all right, awesome, Bull. Anything else you're gonna add? Again, I know we've been trying to keep it on time. I don't know if we have maybe time for one more question or any last minute thoughts. Go ahead, Bull.
Well, I don't want to take up the floor if there's, you just have time for one. So, somebody new chime in,
Yeah,
share your.
Any new people? Anybody else from the army or any of our community members? Feel free to raise your hand or type. Let me go ahead and pull my desktop up as well.
I'll echo the sentiments here of NY crypto investor said, I recently deposited some LPs into the Detonator. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to compound every day. Other than that, no complaints. And that's the big thing, right? This person understands that, their job, so to speak, because we have forgot to say this, in the beginning, we used to say this all the time. Show up, you clock in, you clock out, and compound like it's your job, because this is going to be the easiest, most rewarding job you probably have ever experienced up to this point, unless you're like a rock star or something like that. But it's clicking a button. It's setting an alarm, and I think everybody in DeFi has at least one alarm set, and it should be 5 minutes before the rollover here. 10 minutes if you're a slow waker upper, but I know a number of people have those alarms set because whenever they're speaking, we hear them going off. And I encourage everybody, you know, wherever you're at in the world, you know, make sure you have an alarm set because even, you know, there are going to be days or hours that you missed. No big deal. Those aren't lost. It's just going to, you know, take you that amount of time to reach that ROI. But, you know, it's not something to, you know, lose sleep over, as they say, or turn your life upside down. If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. But if you can show up, I encourage you to show up for more than just the detonator, because the detonator isn't just the most rewarding thing, you know, in DeFi. The whole protocol is really the most rewarding thing in DeFi because you're going to learn so much. Listen to all the bright people that you know, were on the AMA. Look at all the bright people, you know, in the chats. So get in there, get your hands dirty, and figure out what you need to do to build your farms up.
Yes, perfect, Bull. Absolutely. And that, again, I know we mentioned, you know, utility of EMP. You know, what if I told you that you could get into Detonator at half price? I think you'd be pretty interested in that, right? Well, that is the beauty of why, you know, we do say get into nodes. You know, don't get into nodes just to sell your EMP. Get into nodes to, you know, help bolster your farms and detonator, because if you're earning that EMP, then that's EMP that you don't have to buy. You bring in fresh capital, and now, you know, you're getting even a better rate on the farms and in detonator. I just saw a discussion on nodes in the Telegram. That's why I brought that up. But yeah, and so yeah, I mean, again, there's a ton of things that we maybe gloss over that we've said again and again and again, but then we forget to bring it up because there's just so much happening here. But that's true. I mean, detonator truly can be a paycheck, and anything in life requires some effort. And I know that some people, you know, get upset if they're not able to compound, or, you know, even if it's on the worst possible time for you, where detonator rolls over at, say, you know, 3 or 4 a.m. in the middle of the night. If you compound before you go to bed, you're really only losing out on a couple of hours worth of rewards. And again, it's not necessarily losing out back to the whole tax discussion that we had at the top of this AMA, but you're only losing out on the time. So again, if you ROI in, you know, 100 days, and you forget to claim or compound a day, then you would ROI in 101 days. The principal balance is not affected. So yeah, and it is. I mean, we are working on some ideas. You know, we're not gonna, again, I mean, I don't want to go on record and say this, but we're most likely not gonna do an auto compounder. I know everybody's been asking for that, but we do have some really cool ideas on how to accomplish that same goal, because you have to realize that, you know, that is part of why detonator is sustainable, is because not everybody will be able to get every last drip of juice. I know Joe makes that analogy out of detonator every day. So, Joe, was there anything you want to add to
Squeeze every
that?
drop out of that lemon.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Go ahead, man. Yeah.
No. I'll let you go, but I'm really excited. A guy that I was in DeFi with, I made friends with in another protocol, the one where I would talk to one AMA. I made 100,000. It was like one of those crazy protocols that had like more commas with the APRs than you could imagine. And you know how sustainable that went.
For sure.
I ended up losing 20,000 out of the 100, so I still made out. But anyways, I became really good friends with him. I actually got him, talked him into doing. He was really good with web design and stuff, and he got involved with Sphere, and he did their website along with MDB. But anyways, I've been walking him through getting into the detonator. He started in the farms. I got him out of Celsius before that whole thing shut down. So he was really happy about that.
Man, he
because
owes
that
you
was
a
a
beer. He owes you a beer, Joe. Holy shit, right?
he does. But I kind of showed him in the beginning, like how to get your initial back and with these ROIs and just run on house money and all that. So and we've developed a good friendship. But he just sent me a screenshot. He's like, "Holy shit! I think I just won the lottery."
Amazing. Awesome,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's so pumped right now. He's very confused and excited at the same time. So I'm just dying over here.
I love it, man. Well,
But
use that as a teachable moment for him, and man, nothing like getting him hooked with a early lottery win out of the gate, right? Good
yeah,
for him.
I yeah, I told him he only had so much to put in. You know, he couldn't start off like I did, and I was like, listen, your main goal is to get to one ticket compounded per day as fast as possible. I said, so put in 7.5 LPs a day. That will get you your 50 tickets. And you never know, 50 tickets might do it. And that's your best chance at increasing your odds for that one day. And just keep adding that in until you get to around 25, 26 LPs. That's about what you need to generate the tickets. And he said, I still have Ethereum sitting in my wallet. I was like, dude, that's idle money doing nothing. I'm like, you can get into a detonator for half price because now you just need EMP
Totally.
and to make those LPs. And I said, so yeah, just keep putting money in there. You have more tickets. He got up to just under 3 tickets initially. And then he was just going to keep compounding. And when he had money, he was going to DCA his way in. And then and I said, yeah, you want to get those tickets. And just tonight, he hit the lottery. And I'm so excited for him because now his pool balance is massive.
Amazing. Well, congrats to him. And I mean, that's the beauty of the system. I mean, we say it every single day in the AMAs. It only takes one ticket to win. The only way you're not going to guarantee not winning is by not having a ticket. And so we see that happen day after day. So congrats to them. And yeah, happy to hear that. And sounds like he's involved with some other partners as well. I know he said Sphere, MDB. They mentioned this on the AMA today with James Pelton. We are looking into maybe working with them a little bit farther. Sphere. I know I'd been super busy over the last 3 weeks, and the developer and I had been talking, and then I guess I wasn't moving fast enough for him. But we're gonna definitely drum up that relationship again and see how Sphere can benefit us or we can benefit Sphere. And yeah, and MDB obviously they're great guys. We have a lot coming up with them as well. We have a meeting with them next week on their new project that they announced on the AMA. So anyway, a ton of great things happening. I mean, we always pride ourselves on aligning with other projects that can offer value to us and we can offer value to them. Again, that was again the overall conversation today is when we focus on providing value to other protocols, the revenue will follow into our protocol. And that's really the mindset that we have moving forward and what makes me super bullish on EMP to really become a gold standard in crypto. So, all right, awesome. I think that was it. There was any other questions? Yeah, a few more questions about Splinterlands. Again, I know that Splinterlands can be a little overwhelming to get involved. I know somebody said they wish they had more time to go and get in, and I can assure you, I started in Splinterlands about 2.5 years ago. I got, I guess, lucky on my timing, but I also put in the work. I mean, trust me, I didn't want to have to learn an entire economy and an ecosystem when I first got involved, but it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Again, and I think the opportunity is still there because it is pre-Binance listing. There's so much upside on Splinterlands because they really are the most robust play to earn game out there. They have some amazing partnerships with giant brands. I mean, again, they're doing 1 million transactions a day. They have 150 people on staff. I mean, most crypto projects are barely hanging on, and they're expanding. So that just goes to show how much there is. So my point to that is, yes, it is a big time sink. yes, you know, you may get addicted. Like Bull said, he doesn't want to get addicted to it. And again, if you do have impulsive personality, definitely seek help. We don't want anybody, you know, getting addicted to things, but the potential to Splinterlands is huge. And just do yourself a favor, take you know, 2 or 3 hours on the weekend to just do a deep dive, and I really think you'll thank me later when you truly understand the power of what we have. And if you have EMP, you can use that to buy assets. I mean, again, talk about another incentive. That's, you know, good for you, good for us, good for Splinterlands, and again, why we were so excited on that partnership. So, all right, I think that was it. Bull, I'll give you one last word, brother, and we'll wrap it up.
We only argue with those that we care about the most.
Oh, I love it, man. Well, in that case, me and you have an argument on our schedule. So yeah. All
Right
right.
after this, man, I'm super mad.
Yeah, totally. No, we'll jump right in. We may be able to record that and make monetize the Bull and AJ debate. Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get any views or we're gonna get a lot of views.
Yeah. It could go either way, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, brother. Awesome. Well, again, thanks for always being here. My co-host with the most. Thanks to all of you for showing up. Again, the EMP community, our emperors and empresses, are the best in crypto, and I will stand by that to my dying day. And again, we're continued to move forward with EMP, no matter what the market conditions are, and you know, there's always earning opportunity here at EMP. So, all right, another great one. Much love to all of you, and we get to do it all over again in about 24 hours. So, good night, good day. We'll see you tomorrow.